How's it going, everybody? It's Sweater King here, and today I'm bringing you my thoughts on every GTA game that I've played. I've played GTA 3, GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas, GTA 4, and 5. And I did that all within last year, so now that it is the Big 25, I want you all to hear my opinions on all 5 games. Because with GTA 6's announcement date right around the corner this year, I think now is the appropriate time to rank and talk about every GTA game that I've played up to this point. We're going to be ranking each game category out of 10. So the categories are going to be the characters, story, gameplay, and the final mission, and we're going to tally up all of them at the final end. I want to make it clear that for GTA 5, it is going to be strictly story mode only, considering online mode is its own separate beast to tackle, and I'll probably tackle that in a separate video. So without further ado, let's start off with GTA 3. GTA 3 was originally released in December 22nd of 2001 and was released for the PlayStation 2 and was Rockstar's first 3D attempt at the GT franchise and would be known to make the trilogy. Now later this game did get an updated version of the Definitive Edition, which was released for every platform from Xbox Series X and S to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch, and for PC. So everyone can now experience what GTA 3 has to offer in a mildly upgraded graphics. And I did kind of judge GTA 3 pretty poorly for the Definitive Edition, and I think it holds up pretty well to modern standards. Obviously, they didn't want to add anything new, and everything they added new was practically what GTA 3 already had in the previous versions, which was you can do taxi missions and other things, but the main story is kind of where you get the main meat of the gameplay. And there's a lot of missions that really annoyed the hell out of me playing GTA 3, and there's a lot of missions that I actually genuinely had a lot of fun with, but I think there isn't a lot for me to go back to, and once you 100% this game, there's not really anything, and the protagonist is silent. So, GTA 3 is going to lackluster in the gameplay category at a 6 out of 10 for me.
Girls, you can catch all of us lovely ladies doing our thing at hiphophoneys.com.
For as little as our protagonist we play as Claude says, which is literally nothing at all, the story is actually pretty easier to follow, unless you want to get into like the nitty gritty. Then you got to do a little extra research. But so Claude gets betrayed by Catalina, who is his partner in crime at the time, who betrays him at the very beginning of the game, and then just leaves him out to die, and then he gets arrested, and then he gets saved unintentionally by the Mexican cartel, and he gets recruited on the first island, which the islands are kind of like to show progress, because there's 3, so each island is about 1/3 of the game's progress. So you work for the Italian mobsters in the first island, but then get betrayed, so then you got to retreat to the middle island, which opens up a lot more of the map and is a lot more fun, in my opinion, to play around in. So then you get recruited by Maria's friend. I forget which gang she associates herself with, but you work for that gang for the rest of the game after you get betrayed by the Italian mafia. And the entire time, what your main motivation is to find Catalina, who betrays you, but you got to do jobs for everyone around the city. And I think that's kind of interesting that the story kind of revolves around a hatred towards an ex-loved one, and you have love for a new person who Claude really loves is Maria. So Maria lays low while you do all the dirty work, and eventually you get so popular that you get to do things for Donald Love, who is a huge celebrity within Liberty City. And I think Donald Love is probably one of the most interesting characters in GTA 3. I think in all of GTA entirely. And I don't know. This story kind of feels lackluster, yet cool if you do a little bit of research. So then when you get to the end of GTA 3, you get to have a final showdown with Catalina, and you get the girl of your choice, which is Maria, and that's literally all the game is you do favors for other mafia bosses, and then they help you find Catalina. You get to Catalina, take her down, and then boom, story ends. So I'm gonna have to give GTA 3 a 6 out of 10 on the overall story. When it comes to GTA 3's characters, there's only two that come out in mind for me, and that is Donald Love and Catalina. And I think it's because of their villainous and heinous actions towards you. Yeah, there's other characters, but the only two that come to mind when I think of GTA 3 is literally just Catalina and Donald Love. And I think it's because of the way that their characters are so interesting, because Catalina is kind of the main antagonist. It's kind of the main motivation of why Claude does the things that he does in GTA 3. And Donald Love is a character that you meet later on, and the reason that I think he is the most memorable to me is that he is a literal psychopath. Man eats man, physically. He eats other people, and that's just sickening, man. That's just sick on a whole new level. And Catalina is just the ambitious girl that you meet at the very beginning, who you absolutely waste at the end of the game, which absolutely feels satisfying to do after what she put you through at the beginning and all the things you had to do just to get there. So for the characters, although there's a lot, it's heavily carried by Catalina and Donald Love. So I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Nothing much really comes to mind for me when it comes to the final mission, other than the fact of how difficult the final mission can be. See, the final mission starts with you going to confront Catalina, not learning anything from the very beginning of the game, then to a absolute standout where all your guns are taking and you got only a pistol, and you got everyone shooting at you, and you got no health bar, and if you even make it, you still have just 100 armor, which is basically health. So then you gotta go to the dam, collecting every weapon, fighting for your life, collecting scraps basically, until you reach the point where you have to fight every single one of Catalina's goons. And then, after that, you have to destroy that bitch's helicopter, which can fucking demolish you in like seconds. So yeah, no, the only thing that I can only remember, like, from this is how frickin' difficult the mission is. Other than rememberability, there's nothing really much going on for it. So I'm gonna have to give this memorability a 4 out of 10 for final mission. It was probably one of the worst ones, in my opinion. Now that we're done GTA 3's categories and explaining to me why, in my opinion, that they are the way that they are, the highest ranking of GTA 3's category was the characters, thanks to Catalina and Donald Love carrying them. The two that tied for second place is going to be gameplay and overall story, considering I think that they are the beginning of the backbone of the 3D universes and for future GTA games going forward. The category that lowered the lowest of scores is the final mission, considering how forgettable it is to me. To me, there's nothing really meaty about it to sink my teeth into it. It's literally just there for being the hardest and final mission. And with all of that now, GTA's final score out of 40 is going to be 23 out of 40.
I'm working on it. Right now.
You gonna shut him up? Or do I gotta do it?
You know the rules, handsome. No talking.
9:35, the Weasel launches into a song and dance routine.
GTA Vice City was released on October 29th, 2002, a whole year and a week later after the release of GTA 1, and instead of taking place in present time of 2002, what GTA Vice City does differently, not only besides improving everything that was wrong with GTA 3, was that it also brought us a voice-acted main character that we play as, Tommy Vercetti, who was voiced by Ray Liotta, God rest his soul, and is set in the 80s, which is a baller-ass fucking setting, might I add. Not only do you get to explore the 1980s Vice City, but you also get to experience timeless classic songs through the many radio stations through this game. And the guns fit well with the 80s aesthetic. The vehicles also fit well with the aesthetic. So, let us talk about the gameplay. Gameplay for Vice City has greatly improved, meaning that there is more to explore, more vehicles, and there's more ways to make money other than completing the jobs. See, in GTA 3, how you would make money was just going through the story, completing missions. Right? There was nothing else you could have done. What GTA Vice City does is you make money, but you also have properties to buy that make you money outside of the time. So while you're roaming around Vice City, you're making money. Now, there is one issue though, and that's going to be more an issue with story progression. But for gameplay, GTA Vice City gets a boosted 8 out of 10 for gameplay. GTA Vice City's story is honestly a little bit more easier to follow than GTA 3's, in my opinion. And the story revolves around Tommy Vercetti, the new character in the town, where he has to pay off a mafia boss. So he goes around selling for a name for himself, getting some money, and then he gets to meet Lance. Now, Lance is a very interesting character because, like, when you first meet him, he's a very charming character, but by the end of the game, there's a twist that I honestly didn't see coming because this was my first time playing GTA Vice City. The story from start to finish was thrilling, very memorable moments, and was very easy to follow, especially since the character now actually talks to everyone around the environment. And I just loved the story from the start to beginning. There is one part of the story that I don't think that it has nothing to do with the story, but it's the way that the game handled progression of the story. So the mission where you take over the mansion and make it Tommy Vercetti's mansion, the game then forces you to buy properties, and in my opinion, I wish that they did that a little bit better. It has nothing to do with the story. The story afterwards is still a banger, especially after you buy all the properties. And the final mission is such a good mission that I just absolutely loved it. So the overall story for GTA Vice City is a whopping 10 out of 10 for me. GTA GTA 3 has 3 characters that I can name off the top of my head whenever somebody mentions Vice City. Number 1 being Tommy Vercetti, the main character you play as. Number 2 being Lance, the bastard that betrays you at the end of the story. And number 3 being Avery, Donald Love's apprentice. See, Avery gets you to blow up a building, right? Which is fucking insane to me, right? And Tommy is just such an iconic character, man. He's like, I just love his just Hawaiian ass shirt as he's roaming around the area. And Lance is just Lance, alright? Lance kind of has been pissing me off since the beginning of the thing, shown in one of my earliest TikToks.
You know what? Shotgun. Fuck that. Oh! Oh god. Did I kill Lance? No, kill the fuck!
I got to have good revenge on Lance at the end of the game. Lance was charming from the very beginning, until he decided to be an ignorant asshole and betray me at the end of the game. GTA Vice City's characters are not perfect, but they have their flaws. So I'm giving them a 9 out of 10.
To your child's bath and put them in the tub.
GTA Vice City's final mission is short, but action-packed. As the Italian mobsters that you owe money from the very beginning want a piece of the cut that you're making yourself, your hard-earned sweat, your hard-earned time that you put into making all the businesses possible here in Vice City. Now, what you don't know what's going to happen is that you are planning to give the mobster some fake money and to keep in all the real money that you made. Except one of your friends, Lance, tells the mobster what the plan is and backstabs you, which leads into a large shootout in the main foyer area of your mansion. You first take out all of the goons and hold out. Then you cap the head honcho, the guy that you've owed money to from the very beginning, and then you go for Lance. The ending is sweet, and it's just you and your lawyer. What makes this mission particularly even more fun is the fact that it pays homage to 1983's movie Scarface, where it is literally the exact same, where Scarface shoots up the gang thugs in his mansion. This one is a very memorable final mission that I'm giving a 10 out of 10. GTA Vice City's rankings were way higher than anyone expected it to be. There's actually 2 in first place, with Final Mission and Characters coming out at a staggering 10 out of 10 for both of them. Second place would be Characters, coming out as a 9 out of 10. And then for last place is Overall Gameplay, coming out at 8 out of 10. Giving GTA Vice City's final ranking 37 out of 40. The highest rank we have so far for a GTA game.
English and what? What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yes. Then you know what I'm saying. Yes. Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
GTA San Andreas was released on October 26th, 2004, and was a amazing game, way ahead of its time. It introduced quite a lot and improved significantly to what the two predecessors previously had going for it. And had a lot of cut content in it, but was reducedly cut because of the hardware limitations that it had. GTA San Andreas has brought you timeless classics such as...
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda. You picked the wrong house, fool!
Hey, Big Smoke! It's me, Carl! Chill!
But where GTA San Andreas shines the most is in its gameplay. There is so much to do. There's gang territories, and as the game progresses, there's just a lot more things to do in different sections of the map. 1 minute you could be collecting shells for one district of the area, next minute you could be gambling away in a casino, next minute you're fucking robbing another gang member's casino. There's just so much to do the more that you progress through this game. And if you have not played San Andreas, I recommend that you play it. This is going to be San Andreas' strongest point, of the gameplay being 10 out of 10.
GSF for life.
Another one of GTA San Andreas' big strengths is its characters. See, not only is the gameplay improved, but I think the storytelling and the characters, specifically the characters, are its biggest strengths. You have the main protagonist of the game, who is CJ.
Oh, shit.
Who comes home to deal with mom's death. Then you have Smoke.
I'll have 2 number 9s.
Who you think is a friend, but is later seen betraying you. Sweet.
All y'all bitches.
Who just wants CJ to be there for the family. And then you have Ryder.
Hey man, what you want?
Big Smoke's right-hand man in all this. And then you have Officer Tenpenny.
How you been, Carl?
Who is just that constant thorn in CJ's side throughout the story. And what makes Officer Tenpenny just so much better is he's voiced by the legend himself, Samuel L. Jackson. The characters in San Andreas are so, well, memorable, man. Even more memorable than Donald Love in GTA 3. And speaking of GTA 3, 2 characters return for GTA San Andreas. And that is Claude and Catalina. Catalina is constantly tormenting poor CJ, and eventually leaves CJ for Claude, but occasionally calls him to try and make CJ a little bit jealous, but CJ could honestly care less. So, again, one of GTA San Andreas' biggest strengths is characters, which gets another 10 out of 10 for San Andreas.
Over here, man!
GTA San Andreas' story is a wild ride from start to finish. Although the very beginning is a little slow, in my opinion, which is gonna hold it back, the adventures CJ goes on after the events that's revealed that Big Smoke and Ryder have been being betrayed and been working with Officer Tenpenny has been jacked up to 10. There's only 2 parts I don't like about the story, is that the beginning is a little slow, but it's got some memorable parts. And the one area where you gotta take care of Officer Tenpenny's is like assistants, things that are jeopardizing his things, like when you have to go to Mount Chiliad. Other than that, after that parts are over and you get to go to the 2 biggest cities in the game, that's when the game's story ramps up to a max 10 out of 10 for me. Once the story concludes, you confront Officer Tenpenny when probably one of the best final missions. And once you meet Catalina, that's when the story ramps up. So the entire story is going to suffer because of the little nitpicks that I have, but it's going to have a whopping staggering 9 out of 10. Alright, final missions. Briefly talked about it in the previous segment. This is probably one of, like, the better final missions, and what a lot of GTA final missions should look like, especially with GTA 6 coming out. It starts off, not too slow, right? Riots are going off everywhere, shit's hitting the fan, it's crazy. The requirements to get this final mission is, a lot better than GTA Vice City's. So how do you get to, you gotta gain 20 plus gang territory, and then you get to learn where Big Smoke's compound is. Now, after you learn that, you fight through, I think, like, tons and tons of stories of his compound, fighting different gang members, Ballas, Vagos, all that shit. And then you have a big boss fight of Big Smoke. I thought that was the coolest ending there is, but no, there's still more. I think that's halfway through the final mission. Right after that, Officer Tenpenny comes in, after you kill Big Smoke, blackmails you, so then CJ outsmarts Officer Tenpenny. So now, instead of having to go up the stories and fight through all of the different gangs, you now have to do the opposite and have to go through a burning building, fighting your way down through those. Oh, and you think that's it. You think that's it. There's still more. Alright? The final segment is an epic chase of Officer Tenpenny on a fire truck. Oh yeah. You're chasing him all throughout the Los Santos hood area where you finish taking over all the gang territories. As you chase him down, saving your brother's suite. And the final nail in the coffin is watching that fire truck crash down, killing Officer Tenpenny. That is how you do a final mission in this game, making this a 10 out of 10 final mission for GTA Vice City. GTA San Andreas, I think, will be one of Rockstar's best masterpieces of its earliest creations ever made. It was way ahead of its time and implemented such good features that I think it should be the baseline blueprints for every other Rockstar game in the future. GTA San Andreas scored an almost perfect 40 out of 40 score, with 3 out of the 4 categories scoring perfect 10s, with 1 scoring a 9 out of 10. Gameplay, final mission, and characters all got 10 out of 10 across the scoreboard, while story scored a low of 9 out of 10, making GTA San Andreas the near-perfect game of 39 out of 40.
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
GTA 4 was released on April 29th, 2008, and will be released 4 years later after GTA San Andreas, which was a highly anticipated game. What makes GTA 4 different to the three predecessors is that GTA 3 and Vice City and San Andreas would be set in the now to be known 3D universe, while GTA 4 and games after would be set in the HD universe. What makes GTA 4 a lot different, not only graphically, is that the way that the environment reacts around you would be implemented into this game. And a lot of people still praise it over its realism on how certain mechanics work in this game, more than GTA 5's. What makes GTA 4 a lot different as well is the way that you progress through the missions. Some missions you get a phone call. Some missions you have to go to the internet cafe, since the internet was starting to become widely accessible to the average person. GTA 4 is probably one of my personal favorite games after playing it for the first time last year. And for gameplay, it is impressive of how much they've improved. There's not a whole lot. I think there's still some things that are very clunky, even for a 2008 game. But the gameplay still feels refreshing after playing GTA 5 for most of my time. So for gameplay, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10.
Nico, how are you?
Mrs. Faustin, it's nice to see you.
GTA 4's characters are very deeply well written. Well, the protagonists, Nico and Roman. In my playthrough, Roman gets murdered on his wedding day, and it really emotionally upset me in the playthrough I went through. And the friends Nico makes along the way are interesting because Roman, being the cousin, I love Roman, and I think Nico is a really well-written protagonist for a GTA game. You also get to meet Johnny, one of the Lost MC's main characters, who you get to play as in a DLC. I love the protagonists, but I can't say the same against the antagonists in this game. They just fall flat for me, which is a shame, because if they were better written, like the ones in San Andreas, I'm pretty sure GTA's characters would have gotten an instant 10 out of 10, but I can't give them that, because there's not really any well-written enemies other than Nico himself, because that's what Nico is. It's not about the enemies that you physically go after. It's the enemies that you're fighting in your head that Nico has to deal with. And that, I think, is what makes this game the strongest, is Nico's character. Giving GTA 4's character category an 8 out of 10.
Start. It's alright, I'm in. Pick me up in the next hour.
GTA 4's story is probably one of my favorites in the entire franchise. It takes the idea of the American dream, but turns it on its head. See, the beginning of the story, you have Nico coming to visit his cousin in Liberty City, thinking that he's going to be with all the beautiful women and all the fancy sports cars in the world. Little does he know is that Roman is working his ass off and doesn't get anywhere. And Nico doesn't like the unfairness that the, quote, American dream has compared to his life back home in Russia. Granted, I'm guessing he escaped Russia to escape from the war, because that's what Nico's fighting with here. He's not fighting with any specific person with conflict. He's fighting with himself. And that's what makes this story interesting, is that it's always an internal conflict with Nico. Sure, the actual antagonists of the game, serve their purpose of progressing the story, but the story strives mostly strong with Nico, including the very end, where you have two choices. You either fight the Don, whoever is in charge of the Mafia, or you fight the Russian guy that betrayed you in the very beginning. Granted, each option has their own consequences. Option 1, the one that I went with, Roman dies. And you kill the Russian guy, and the final mission is action-packed. Number 2, you choose the revenge path. Roman gets to live this time, but the love interest of Nico gets capped. So it's better to go with the revenge one, because if you go with helping the Don, Roman gets capped, and the potential love interest is no longer interested in you. So yeah, there's that. The story gets a 10 out of 10 for me. The highest story ranking out of all the games. The final mission in GTA 4, well, there's 2, but I've only had 1. See, they end almost practically the same, but it's actually really action-packed, and the ending takes place on the Statue of Liberty's island. And I think that that's really cool. I think that's cool that I've heard one's definitely more action-packed, but the ending I got, was alright. I failed it a couple of times because I didn't understand the mechanics, until I realized I had to jam my A button. Like, I had to just like it, I had cramps after that. But I think the final mission was actually really satisfying. I don't think it's one of the best final missions in the game, but it's definitely what GTA should strive to be for action-packedness. So I'm going to have to give it a score of 7 out of 10, because, it was fun, but if I'm thinking like 10 years, 4 years down the line, I'm probably not going to remember it. So, I think a 7 is what it deserves. Alright, GTA 4. What a GTA to unpacked. It is seen as one of my friends' favorite games. Pretty nostalgic for one. The other likes how the driving feels. I agree with him. The driving definitely feels a lot more impactful, but let's go over the ratings. Story of GTA 4 scored the highest score of making it a 10 out of 10 story. While gameplay greatly improved, but not as superior as San Andreas, scored it a 9 out of 10. Characters, on the other hand, the antagonists hold this one back, even though Nico, Roman, and Packie are really, really goated characters. It's just the antagonists that are holding the characters back, giving it an 8 out of 10. And finally, the final mission being pretty not memorable, in my opinion, other than the fact that you are on the Statue of Liberty Island killing whoever you sided with. So it's gonna lack in that category of 7 out of 10. Meaning, tallying up all of these gives GTA 4 a whopping 34 out of 40 of the score tallies.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather.
It's been 11 fucking years! 11 years! I finally got my vote back!
GTA 5 is the Grand Theft Auto that almost everyone's going to mention when you ask them, which GTA game do you know the most? Considering it's been out for the 10 years that it's been out for, and it's been mainstream media for over 10 years now for Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out October 17th, 2013 for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Then in November of 2014 came out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And in 2015 came out for PC, and in 2022 came out for the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. GTA 5 has been memed upon for being the longest going GTA game to have more re-releases than the games to consoles. GTA 5's been the ongoing thing up until the up news of GTA 6, which is why GTA 6 is so hyped. GTA 5 improved a lot from what GTA 4 had to offer back in 2008, and story mode is fantastic to go through. For gameplay, the driving feels a lot more smoother than Grand Theft Auto 4's, even though it doesn't feel as heavy or as impactful. And the gunplay feels really smooth in this game. It feels the most polished out of all the GTA games. So, for gameplay, it's gonna be a 10 out of 10.
Drunk as fuck.
I hear you, man. Shit. I'm fucking drunk.
GTA 5's characters are the most unique in the franchise because what GTA 5 does differently than the rest of the games is it actually has 3 playable protagonists. Franklin, who you play at the very beginning, Michael, who you unlock after crashing through Simeon's shop, and then Trevor after doing the jewelry heist. See, what I love about these 3 characters is how they interact with each other, argue all the time, and have genuinely a fantastic bond. Michael and Trevor actually go back all the way to the very beginning. See, the very beginning of the game, you play the prologue, where you actually play as Michael and Trevor. And then you play as Franklin afterwards, who is the newbie of the group. These characters are quite memorable and have some pretty fantastic interactions, such as...
Like that, Mike. I mean, really, I don't. Answer a fucking question. I asked for a fair day's pay after a fair day's work. Then he kind of got a little angry. So I admit, I kind of got a little angry.
Did you kill him?
What kind of fucking animal do you take me for? No, I didn't kill him.
Oh, fuck.
But I did kidnap his wife.
Oh, no!
What's up? Can a low come up in your crib?
Man, fuck you. I'll see you at work.
Oh, nigga, don't hate me because I'm beautiful, nigga. Maybe if you got rid of that old yee-yee-ass haircut you got, you get some bitches on your dick. Oh, better yet, maybe Tanisha will call your dog ass if she ever stop fucking with that brain surgeon, the lawyer she fucking with. Nigga.
The only issue that I have with GTA 5's characters is that it has the same problems with GTA 4, that the protagonists are the most memorable of the franchise, but it's the antagonists that are probably the least forgettable in the entire franchise compared to the other 5 games. See, there's mainly 2 enemies, antagonists, whatever you want to call them, and that being Dave and Haynes, Agent Haynes. Those are realistically the only 2. One is just a scammer, an asshole that thinks that he owns the world. And Agent Haynes is just a corrupt asshole. So, what's the rating then, if that's going to drag it down? So, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor are going to be the heavy carriers of this rating of 8 out of 10 for characters. What makes GTA 5's story the most interesting between all of them is that it's not one big conglomerate story that follows only one person. It's 3 mini-stories that all weave into each other to make the gigantic story that we know and love today. See, we have Franklin's story, who we get to see at the very beginning. A young kid trying to get out of the hood, trying to make a quick buck so that he can survive. Then we have Michael, who is a retired bank robber trying to lay low as he's living off of government spending and trying not to bring the past to him. And Trevor, the past that was once Michael, has come to haunt him. What makes this interesting is that you could follow all three characters individually, but you can't get the main story until you interweaving them all to make the gigantic story. And I think that what makes this interesting, so it's going to get a bonus point for that. But the story itself is memorable only because of the three protagonists. Well, the antagonists fall flat. Although the final mission, depending which one you pick, is really, really great. This gives GTA 5's story an 8 out of 10, plus the bonus point, making it a 9 out of 10.
Bullshit!
GTA 5 also plays with the idea of multiple endings, although they're very different to each other. There's option A, there's option B, and there's option C. Option A is to kill Michael, and option B is to kill Trevor. And both those options lead pretty similarly, although the quotes are a little bit different depending on which character you kill. But the one we're going to be talking about the most, the meat and the bone of the final missions of GTA 5, is the Death Wish ending. This one starts off boring, but you cap off every enemy that was a pain in the ass to all three of the main characters. And the best part about it, you got to see Devin Weston die at the end, as you three characters push him into the ocean. And the ending cutscene is what gives this such a high rating. The other previous issues is what's going to hold this rating back. But for GTA's final mission, we're going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. GTA 5 still has a lot going for it today. Even the new story mode, I think, is still replayable and is fun to go back to once in a while. But since this is strictly story mode, this is what the rating will be. See, gameplay scored the highest with 10 out of 10 gameplay, while the story nabbed a 9 out of 10 on the score. The only two that tied for last place was characters and a final mission. And this is it for all of the GTA games, so let's tally up all the scores, leading to a whopping 35 out of 40. Now that we're done all 5 of the GTA series, it's time to recap the final ratings. GTA 3 came out with a 23 out of 40. While Vice City got 37 out of 40. San Andreas almost got a perfect 40 out of 40, but came out on top with a 39 out of 40. GTA 4 came out with a 34 out of 40. And our final game, GTA 5, came out with a 35 out of 40. Thank you everybody for watching my video. If you liked what you see, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and commenting thoughts and queries you have in the comments. Other than that, this is Sweater King. Peace, Kingdom.
How